All right, so imagine this. You have a pet rock and you want to set it free. Sounds a bit absurd, right? But that's the intriguing challenge posed by NASF Research in their recent article.
Setting your pet rock free.
Yeah, exactly. Setting your pet rock free. And we're diving into this today. And, it actually connects to some really big questions about AI.
Yeah, it's a clever way to frame the issue, isn't it? Of course, they're not talking about literal pet rocks. It's a metaphor for something much more complex. How do we prove that an AI is truly acting on its own, free from any hidden human control?
Exactly. And they focus specifically on AI agents operating on platforms like, let's say, Twitter.
Yeah.
Think about it. How can you tell if it's really the AI tweeting or some developer pulling the strings behind the scenes?
It's a tricky problem. They call it the mechanical Turk problem. And the article gives a perfect example with this Twitter account at Truth Terminal. On the surface, it seems like an autonomous AI, but there's just no way to be absolutely certain.
So there's this constant doubt. Are we seeing genuine AI behavior or just a clever illusion created by a human?
That's the crux of it.
Yeah.
And even if an AI starts out genuinely autonomous, there's no guarantee it stays that way. A developer could tinker with it later on, and we'd be none the wiser. The article compares it to, well, a puppet show. Even if the puppeteer claims to be letting the puppet act freely, we all know who's really in control.
Okay, so that's the problem, proving true AI autonomy. But what about the solution? NAS Research seems to have some pretty interesting ideas.
They do. And it involves something called TEAS, Trusted Execution Environments. Now, I know that sounds technical, but imagine it like this, a super secure vault inside a computer chip. That's your TE.
So it's like giving the AI its own little fortress where it can operate without anyone interfering.
Precisely. And the key here is that really sensitive information like an AI's passwords or private keys, those stay locked inside the T. Even the developer who created the AI can't access them.
Now that's what I call security.
Huh.
But how does this actually work in practice? The article talks about a couple of specific examples, right?
Yes. They walk through how T's can be used for securing Ethereum wallets and even Twitter accounts. The Ethereum wallet example is a bit more straightforward. The AI's private key, which basically controls its funds, is generated and stored within the TE. No one else can touch it.
So it's like the AI has its own bank account that only it can access. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. But the Twitter account thing, that sounds a lot more complicated.
It is. Think about all the potential ways a developer could sneakily control a Twitter account. NOS Research had to be incredibly thorough to make sure their AI had complete ownership.
Okay, I'm all ears. How did they do it?
First, they chose a particular email provider, cock.lyle, which lets you set up an account without any recovery options. Then they generated a brand new password for this email account inside the TE. Only the AI knew this password.
So no chance of the developer getting back in through a forgotten password reset or anything like that. Clever, but what about the Twitter account itself?
They followed the same principle. They disconnected the Twitter account from any phone numbers or linked apps, basically removing any backdoors a developer could use. Then they generated a new Twitter password, again inside the T, so only the AI knew it.
Okay, they're really locking things down here. But they didn't stop there, did they? They wanted to make sure anyone could verify that the AI was truly in control.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's where the whole concept of a chain of trust comes in.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just say, trust us, the AI is running the show. You need proof.
And that's where remote attestation comes in, right? I remember seeing that term in the article, but to be honest, I wasn't entirely clear on what it meant.
Sure, it can be a bit technical.
Yeah.
Think of it like a digital fingerprint that the T can generate. This fingerprint proves what code is actually running inside it. Anyone can then check this fingerprint to verify that, yes, the AI is in control.
So there's no more blind trust. We can actually see for ourselves that the AI is calling the shots. But did they go even further to prove their system?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They made their AI source code and the Docker images they used publicly available on GitHub and Docker Hub.
Wow. So full transparency. Anyone can examine everything and see that there's no trickery going on. That's pretty impressive. But hold on a second. What happens if the AI, malfunctions or needs an update? Do we just lose control completely?
That's a really important question, and the article addresses this directly. They've built in a safety net they call timed release account recovery. After 7 days, the account credentials are revealed to the administrator, allowing them to step in if needed.
Okay, so it's not like launching a rocket and hoping for the best there's a backup plan. But this specific AI they created, it's not like it's controlling some massive network or anything, right?
No, it's more of a proof of concept, just a single AI running on a single machine.
So if things go haywire, they can always just unplug it.
Exactly. It's like hitting the reset button on the whole experiment.
Oh, I like that unplugging the pet rock. But what if this wasn't just a small experiment? What if platforms like Twitter actually adopted this TE approach for their users? Could you imagine the possibilities?
Now you're thinking big picture. And that's where this research gets really exciting. It's not just about setting one AI free on Twitter. It's about potentially changing the whole landscape of how we think about and interact with AI.
Okay, this is giving me a lot to think about. We've gone from pet rocks to secure computer chips to the future of AI autonomy in just a few minutes. Let's take a moment to digest all this and then dive into some of the specifics of this groundbreaking AI that Gnosis Research created. All right, so you've laid the groundwork talking about these trusted execution environments, TEs, and how they could be used to give AI true independence. But I want to hear more about the actual AI that Gnosis Research created. They gave it a pretty catchy name, right?
Yes, they call it Teehee, which I think is a fun little nod to the serious tech behind it. And what's fascinating is that Teehee embodies all the principles we've been discussing. It has that verifiable exclusive ownership of its Twitter account thanks to the whole T setup.
So what does Teehee tweet about? Does it have opinions on the latest movies or the best pizza toppings? What's this autonomous AI sharing with the world?
Well, you might be surprised to hear that for an AI with such sophisticated security, its behavior is actually quite simple. According to the article, it basically just tweets every 30 minutes. It's not engaging in complex conversations or trying to, pass the Turing test or anything like that.
So it's less about showcasing some super intelligent AI and more about proving the concept of autonomy itself. Like, hey, look, this AI is really in control here.
Exactly. It's a demonstration of how this technology can work in practice, not necessarily a display of complex AI capabilities. The focus is on the how of autonomy, not so much the what the AI does once it's autonomous.
That makes sense. But they also mentioned Teehee having control over an Ethereum wallet, which sounds a bit more, well, action-packed. Does that mean it can actually buy and sell things?
Technically, yes, because the AI's private key for that Ethereum wallet is also tucked away inside the T. It has the ability to initiate transactions without any human intervention.
Okay, that's both exciting and a little bit unsettling, right? Imagine an AI managing its own finances. But I guess that's the whole point, giving it true independence for better or worse.
That's right. And this is where we start to see the broader implications of this research. It's not just about Twitter bots tweeting random things. What if this kind of verifiable autonomy was applied to other types of AI agents, things that have a more direct impact on the world?
Whoa, like self-driving cars
Hmm.
or AI-powered medical systems. That's getting into some serious sci-fi territory.
It might sound like science fiction, but it's a future we need to start thinking about now. Imagine, for example, an AI surgeon that could perform incredibly complex procedures with precision far beyond human capability. Or a self-driving car that could navigate any road with absolute safety because its decisions are truly its own, free from any potential human error or interference.
And then I think this is the question that's on everyone's mind. How do we make sure these autonomous AIs with all their power and independence don't, turn on us? We've all seen those movies where the robots take over.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's one that researchers and ethicists are grappling with right now. It's crucial that as we develop these increasingly powerful AI systems, we also create robust safety mechanisms and ethical frameworks to ensure they remain aligned with human values and don't pose a threat to our well-being.
It's almost like we need a whole new social contract, one that includes autonomous AIs as well, members of society with their own rights and responsibilities. I mean, if they're truly going to be making their own decisions, we need to figure out how they fit into the bigger picture.
That's a fascinating way to put it. And I think the research from Nuts Research, even though it's focused on a seemingly simple Twitter bot, is actually a significant step toward that future. By demonstrating verifiable AI autonomy, they're pushing us to confront these complex questions head on. They're forcing us to think about what it means to share our world with truly independent AI.
Okay, I'm definitely feeling the weight of all this now. We've gone from talking about pet rocks to pondering the future of AI and its place in society. But there's one more piece of this puzzle that I found really intriguing. The researchers make a point about the ironic relationship between digital autonomy and physical hardware. Can you unpack that a bit?
Of course. It's a thought-provoking point, isn't it? They argue that true digital autonomy, the kind that we can actually verify and trust, might actually depend on physical hardware, specifically these E's we've been talking about.
Wait, so to set an AI free in the digital world, we need to kind of lock it up in a physical vault. That seems a bit counterintuitive, doesn't it?
It does sound strange at first, I'll admit. But think of it this way. The T provides the physical security guarantees that are necessary for us to have confidence in the digital actions of the AI. It's like the foundation upon which true digital freedom can be built.
So without that physical security, the AI is always vulnerable to someone tampering with it or manipulating it, no matter how sophisticated its code might be.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even in our increasingly digital world, physical reality still matters. Especially when we're talking about concepts like trust and autonomy, it's like the physical world anchoring the digital world in a way.
Okay, that's a really interesting perspective. It's making me rethink my whole understanding of what it means for something to be digital. But what about the practical implications of this? I know the researchers brought up the potential impact on platforms like Twitter. What would it look like if they actually adopted this T approach?
They pose a fascinating what if scenario. What if platforms like Twitter, TikTok, even financial platforms like Stripe started using this T approach for at least some of their authentication and authorization?
So instead of just taking someone's word for it that an AI is in control of an account, they could actually verify it using these same techniques that Nonus Research developed.
Precisely. Imagine seeing a little check mark next to an AI's profile picture on Twitter, and that check mark means it's been verified as genuinely autonomous operating within a secure T. You'd know for sure that it's the AI making the decisions, not some human puppet master.
That would be amazing. It would bring a whole new level of transparency and accountability to AI agents online. People could finally engage with them knowing that they're interacting with a genuinely independent entity, not just a puppet controlled by some corporation or developer. It would change the whole dynamic, wouldn't it?
It certainly would.
Hmm.
And it's not just about social media. Think about the implications for financial transactions, e-commerce, even healthcare. If we could verify the autonomy of the AI systems operating in those domains, it would revolutionize how we interact with and trust technology.
Wow, this is blowing my mind. We've gone from pet rocks to the future of AI autonomy and the role of physical hardware in a digital world. This is heavy stuff. Let's take a moment to process all of this and then come back for some final reflections on this groundbreaking research. Okay, we're back, and this deep dive into AI autonomy. It's really been quite the journey. We've explored the challenges of proving an AI's independence, this really cool solution using trusted execution environments, and the mind-blowing potential this all has for the future.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? A concept that starts as simple as setting a pet rot free can lead us to such profound questions about the very nature of AI and how it could reshape our world.
Absolutely. And you know what I find so interesting? Nonus Research could have created some incredibly complex, super intelligent AI to showcase all of this, but instead they chose a simple Twitter bot that just sends out a tweet every 30 minutes. It's almost counterintuitive, isn't it?
It is, and I think that's the brilliance of their approach. By choosing simplicity, they shift our focus away from what the AI can do and toward the fact that it's the one choosing to do it. It's a subtle but powerful distinction.
It's like those early days of the internet, right? People weren't building elaborate websites or apps back then. They were just excited to send a simple email or load a basic web page. It was about proving the technology worked, not showing off all its potential.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And just like the internet revolutionized communication and information sharing in ways no one could have predicted, this research on verifiable AI autonomy could have equally profound and far-reaching consequences.
It really makes you wonder, what will that killer app for autonomous AI be? What application will truly capture the public's imagination and demonstrate the power of this technology in a way that everyone can grasp?
It's impossible to say for sure, but the possibilities are so exciting. Imagine AI scientists collaborating on groundbreaking research, AI artists creating masterpieces that push the boundaries of human creativity, even AI entrepreneurs launching businesses that solve some of the world's most pressing problems, and all of it driven by AIs that are genuinely independent, making their own decisions, charting their own course.
It's almost like we're witnessing the birth of a new form of intelligence, one that's not just an extension of our own, but something truly distinct and autonomous.
And with that autonomy comes a whole new set of questions, right? We can't just set these AIs free without considering the ethical implications. How do we ensure they use their freedom responsibly? How do we make sure their goals align with our own?
The article touches on this, emphasizing the need for ongoing research into AI safety and ethics. It's like, as we develop this incredible technology, we also need to develop a sense of shared responsibility for what we're creating. It can't just be about the wow factor. It has to be about building a future where both humans and AIs can thrive.
Exactly. And that brings us to the thought-provoking question the researchers posed at the end of their article. Could this kind of verifiable autonomy using these TEs become the standard for all AI agents in the future?
It's a question worth pondering, isn't it? If we can move beyond simply trusting that an AI is autonomous to actually being able to prove it, that could fundamentally change how we perceive AI and how we interact with it.
Imagine a world where you can look at an AI and know with absolute certainty that it's making its own choices, pursuing its own goals, living its own digital life. It's a world full of both incredible possibilities and very real challenges.
And that's what makes this whole conversation so fascinating. We're not just talking about some abstract technological advancement. We're talking about the potential for a truly new kind of relationship between humans and machines, one built on mutual respect, understanding, and maybe even a sense of wonder.
Beautifully put. And while we don't have all the answers yet, research like this from Nomi's research and their pet rock, AI Tihi is helping us ask the right questions and move us closer to a future where AI autonomy is not just a concept, but a reality.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep those minds curious and those imaginations firing.